All right, we're going to do a quick rib video on how to get good results from a Weber charcoal kettle to smoke ribs. It doesn't really matter if you're using an offset, grill or propane. I mean, it's all fire, but for smoking, you got to be able to control the fire and use the right wood and whatnot. And that's what I'm going to show you, which could totally be done on a Weber grill. It's just that you can do more of it on an offset or even a pellet smoker. So here I have two racks of baby back ribs, pork ribs, and all I've done so far is I took the silver skin off on the bottom. You just rip that off. You don't have to. It's just some people say you get more the smoke flavor and juices going through if it's kind of open and not blocked like that. So I've done that. I've trimmed them a little bit, just cut off some excess pieces, and then I'm using this today. Let's see what this is. Kinder's Hickory Molasses. I don't know if it's good. It smells good. So I just sprinkle that on pretty liberally and then put it in the fridge for an hour. Now they've been sitting out for about 30 minutes to come down in temperature a little bit. Let's go out to the grill and I'll show you the setup over there. All right, what I got going on out here is the charcoal grill. So I have the center area open. That's where I'm going to put a drip tray. And then some coals and hickory wood over here. Coals and hickory wood over here. And I'm going to light this up to pour on top and just get it all going here. So, 1 second. All right, here's what I've done so far. So I'm just letting these coals get hot. I drip pan in the middle full of apple juice and beer. That'll just make some steam that comes up and keeps it hydrated. I have a probe right here. So I'm just basically watching this till it gets up to about 200, 250, and I'll put them on. And the idea here is to keep it between 250 and 300. You'll have little flare-ups and cool-downs, but that's the idea, to keep it in that range for smoking at least. All right, I just put them on. Let's take a look at what the setup is. So the fire is on either side, right? So you just want to keep them in the middle so they don't get burnt. And I'll close this. You can see a lot of the smoke is gone, so it's not, you don't want to put it on when there's a ton of smoke. That light blue smoke is what you want to look for. And then I'll keep an eye on the ambient temperature as we go. All right, while that's in there cooking, that's going to take a few hours or so. So I'm trying not to lift the lid too much, but every now and then you're going to want to spray it down. We have that tray of apple juice, so that'll create some steam. But in here I've got apple cider vinegar, some more apple juice, and a whole beer. And basically every 30 minutes or so, I'm going to just open that lid and check on it and spray them. The nice thing about this sort of set it and forget it type method is, it's out there. It's not over direct heat. You can see it's got some good wood smoke. It's nice and light. It's not heavy smoke. And I'm just basically monitoring the ambient temperature. So I'm just looking at my thermometer, my probe for the ambient. If you don't have one of those, you can probably take one of the meat probes and put it, stand it up somehow. Or they also have those wireless ones. I think Meter, MEATR. It's pretty cool. They're double-sided, so you can put one end in the meat, and then the other end is the ambient. And if you're just measuring ambient, you can put it in like a potato or something and leave it in there. But again, the idea is you don't have to worry about keeping an eye on this thing. It's not over direct heat. It's not going to flame up. You're literally just, for lack of better words, baking it at 250 to 350 in that range for however long it takes. And I'll show you how to check that a little bit later. But there's nothing really to worry about right now other than fire management. So if the temperature drops really, really low, let me show you the app here I'm using. So right now it's at 350, which is really on the upper end of where I want to be, but the fire just started and it's pretty hot. And also a lot of that wood is on fire, so that makes it really hot. And then when that's kind of calmed down, it'll settle back down somewhere in the 250 to 275 range. I may have to add more coal, but probably not. Maybe once, just a handful, but it should be fine. All right, it's been a couple hours here. Let's see what it looks like. Looking good. No burn spots or anything. The coal's getting a little cold, so I'm gonna open these flaps and shake it and add some wood. Let's see. So what happened was I was just checking the temperature, and basically it was starting to drop around 250 or so, which is fine, but it was on a downward trend. So I thought I'd put a few more blocks of wood in there. That'll make it hot, but it won't last as long. But I only need like another hour, so I'm gonna try to nurse it along. I might have to throw in a few more briquettes, but the main idea is just to maintain a minimum temperature. You're not, trying to cook this thing hardcore over a flame or anything like that. So it's actually ideal, and I'm approaching the end of the cook. So we'll check on it a little bit, and I'll show you sort of the way to test whether the meat is done. You can probe it with a temperature probe. You want to be around 200 to make sure all that fat has rendered and it's tender. You're not checking to make sure it's a minimum, cook temperature like you would when you're grilling a steak. I mean, this is going to be completely cooked. It's no question there. And then also we'll do the bend test where you take some tongs, I'll show you, and then you bend it. And if the meat kind of breaks off the bone, that implies proper tenderness. And then also you want to make sure that the meat is peeling away from or shrinking away from the end bones. And I'll show you what that looks like. All right, so you can see what these are looking like now. These are pretty much done. Let me show you the bend test. So if you grab it and you go like this, you can see the meat breaking. You can see it more like that right here. That's a pretty darn good sign they're too tender or tender enough. And then the pull away right here, you want to see a little bit of the bone there. But as a last resort, what you could do is just test the meat. And I like to see close to 200. Some of these are, some of them aren't, but you'll see it goes in like butter. It's not tough. So that's a good sign that these are ready to pull. So, and if you overdo it, it's just a matter of dryness. It's not taste. So I think on half of these, I'm going to put some barbecue sauce. I lost my brush. That's okay. Just a little bit, and then I'll close the lid for 5-10 more minutes. All right. So I had these in foil for 20 minutes just to kind of soak in all the moisture and rest. And now I'm going to cut into these babies. Here's one right here. Take a look. See. And what you'll find is, let me show you one of these up close. You'll see a nice pink smoke ring on these. People who don't smoke meat don't understand that that's not, they'll think it's underdone or something, but it's awesome. I mean, this is totally tender. It's pulling off, but it's not falling off. You don't really want that with ribs. You want to have some bite, right? Anyway, easy breezy is a charcoal grill. I mean, these are under $100. It's not about the quality of the grill. It's really just fire management and other basic cooking techniques. You can see some of these are literally falling off the bone. So I probably did it a little too long, but that's okay. It's not going to taste bad or anything. It's all low temp, So I think that's where I'll stop it today, and I hope you try this out on your own. You don't need a $1,000 smoker to make good meat. You just maybe the higher quality, not as much heat loss. You can definitely cook more than this at once, but don't be afraid to start small and try it out. Thanks for watching.